Hello everyone, welcome to our new interview of this series, the Motivational interview. Today we have Dr. Amara Graps with us. She is in this field more than, I think, 40 years.
Not quite, but close.
Closely.
Yeah.
Let's just say closely. She did her PhD from Heidelberg University in Germany, and before doing her PhD, she already had the experience working with this various space institution, which gave her 18 years of experiences. And she had a lot of publication on her name by the time she started her PhD. And once she finished her PhD, she was involved in the various international teams, to be precise, more than 10 international teams she was associated and working on the missions including Voyager, Cassini, Rosetta, and she has got numerous awards from NASA and ESA for her contribution towards science.
Yeah, those are team awards. Yeah,
certainly.
Team.
But you were part of that team definitely, which is not an easy job, I would say. And she was also associated with a lot of science activities. And currently, she's trying to establish the space community in the Baltic region, and she's rigorously working in that aspect in her current life. So thanks, Amara, for agreeing, sitting down with us, doing this in such a short notice. And we really love you on this series. So you had a really great amount of experience before you started your PhD, and once you are done with your PhD, you did work in, again, various research institutes within US and later worked in Latvia. So what challenges you feel in terms of professional career between in these two, I would say, continents, because one is European culture, another one is US culture. What changes you feel, and how was your reaction, thought process?
Yeah, so it was 18 years in the US in these different teams. So Voyager team at JPL and Pioneer Venus team in Boulder, and Voyager there as well. And NASA Ames, I was doing ground-based infrared support for teams. Again, I was a scientific programmer, and I was there the longest of all of the NASA institutions at NASA Ames. It was really easy to find jobs where the scientists need programming help. And so again, I found niches and even got into a little bit of atmospheric science programming help. Ring, I was a ring scientist actually in my early life before I got out of NASA Ames, and that was with a repetitive strain injury. I had to solve that problem, and so became a consultant programming, with voice activation software in the early days. So, but then I went to Stanford and worked for a solar physics group, and the SOHO group, and just went from there. But from that point, I was convinced that I needed a PhD. So I had enough evidence that I could only go so far in the teams I was supporting without the PhD. They were willing to give me a name on papers, but I really couldn't lead. They were not my research projects, except in a couple of science ring projects. Those were mine. So the difference between U.S. and Europe is, first of all, U.S. is much bigger for the amount of resources and money and all of this, a lot. And they're very work-oriented, extremely work-oriented. So I moved to Germany, and I could see instantly we had 1 month of holidays. Not exactly PhD students had that, but the scientists have it. And the life is healthy.
Yeah, agree.
Really healthy.
Can't agree.
So
really.
I was beginning to use sound bites where the Americans live to work and the Europeans work to live, because in the beginning of the year they're planning their holidays, and for sure by that date they're ready to go, and they turn off their phones and you don't reach them for those number of weeks. So that's one difference. I think that the cultural life and the daily life is a little bit more healthy on the European continent.
Okay. And in terms of your work, because you are really trying to establish this Baltic regions, I understand that you are really traveling a lot, and you have earlier also you have been traveling in the different places. So how did you manage to balance between your professional life and work life? Because traveling as well as maintaining our health, keeping the spirit high, keeping the goals, it's something really challenging, at least what I feel nowadays.
Yeah, because I'm a solo parent, right? And
okay.
So this oh my gosh! I started 2 babies in 2008. One was a self-funded research life, and the second was a real baby. And so I would say that starting the real baby was a lot easier than the self-funded research life, and you might be surprised by that. I mean, the baby, you know what you have to do, and things are changing, and you have to be flexible, and you have to find solutions. But the self-funded research life, you actually don't know. It's a little bit like a game of roulette or something. You just put your dice there, and it may get funded or it may not, and if it doesn't get funded, boy, you're in trouble. And so you learn strategies how to diversify among different funding programs and things like that. So I learned that writing grant proposals in the middle of the night, pumping milk to feed my baby was something that I don't want to repeat in my life again. That was probably the most stressful period in my life, was how to keep the basic care of a newborn going as I'm submitting grant proposals. So that Boulder life was a really hard life. And so I went from Boulder to Latvia because I did have a PhD, but the financial support and being a solo parent living in that area was too hard. And my strategy of really hard problems, like I moved from Italy to Boulder because I was ready to start a family, and I couldn't find any more a job to support me, and I had this wonderful New Horizons contract. So I went there, but soon after I started everything to start my baby. This is in vitro fertilization, and I have a clinic in Estonia and a clinic in Boulder that are talking to each other. And it was truly a world event. All of this. I should write a book. I think I need to write a book about that. Okay. But that was completely successful, and I had really good support at Southwest for that. But the financial support and all these grant proposals in order to survive were too much. So my strategy was to move again. So I moved to Riga because the social support is easier. The financials needed for supporting a child is easier. And I made full use of my dual citizenship. So whenever I have a funding challenge, I seem to collect affiliations. So I have 2 citizenships, American and Latvian. So with my American citizenship, I can apply for NASA grants, and I can do it living in cheaper places like Latvia. Whereas with my Latvian citizenship, I can get an affiliation like at the University of Latvia, and I can apply for grants through the European Commission or through national funding, or So Baltics in Space is my 3rd affiliation because the university itself has some deficiencies. I like it for teaching. I'm just beginning to plan for that finally. But research is a little less supported there. And that environment is, if you're a foreigner, like I am half Latvian, but I don't speak the language fluently. And this is noticed. And you feel you're kind of an outsider there. So I had enough challenges inside for my research that I stepped out and I decided to have an entity of my own. That's when I founded Baltics in Space. So I put everything in there that I couldn't do very well inside the University of Latvia, and I could grow bigger. So the Baltic region is tiny. There's 3 little countries
Yeah.
and narrow skill sets. And if you could integrate those skill sets, you could build big projects that are as competitive as other regions of Europe. So that are some of my challenges and solutions. Is first moving, you know, when I got too much, and then finding a way to work in that environment, but have it to be more customized to my own needs.
Yeah. Okay. And throughout your career, like you, so you, as a degree, you are computational physicist, but then you have also gone into various fields of, you know, planetary science and try various new things. How did it help you to grow on a professional level as well as personal level? Because so it's too many things. Like
well, the computational physics was my master's degree.
Yeah.
And the simulations that I wrote for that keep coming back. Like I was using integration schemes that I still use today, and I remember those old ones. And the programming that I learned for computational physics degree is a style that helps me today. I learned, so this was in Pascal. In Pascal, you have to type your variables very, very precisely. And in my previous programming for scientists, you inherit spaghetti code. And you wish that they commented their code a little bit better, and you wish that there was a header that said input, output, and how to organize your code so that other people can use it. So all the lessons that I wish other people didn't do, you know, I do myself because I may need to go back to that in 5 years or 10 years. And in fact, that's been it's been my case where I'd say, how did I do that? Oh yeah, you know, and I go back to this code from 5 years ago or more, you know, and I did a good job commenting. So those computational skills helped me a lot, and I can bridge fields better with the computational skills. So my physics degree is in dust, charging and dynamics of cosmic dust from Io's volcanoes. And the dust moves in the solar system in really amazing ways. It's non-intuitive. It's not dominated by gravity. It's dominated by you know, Lorentz forces, electrodynamics. And it's multi-disciplinary, so optics and solid-state physics and all these other areas enter. And I like that because I think I'm more of a Renaissance person. It's hard for me to focus on one little thing, so I like bridging all of these different fields.
So this is really amazing to hear, and you have also been a lot of struggle throughout your life when it comes to professional as well as, you know, the personal life. So what suggestion you would like to give to the students and to the early careers to thrive in these fields, so that, you know, they just get this kind of motivation to get a little bit of push? What would you just give them?
One thing I was missing in the 10 years since my daughter was born was me time. And I should have had that as an undergraduate and long ago, you know, to build the kind of habits that take care of you. Now I kind of had that a little bit, but as you get more responsibilities, you know, your brain starts losing focus, and you forget that simple me care. Like when I was a scientific programmer all those years, I forgot that I had to get up and get some water and move around, and you know, and I developed repetitive strain injuries. Well, isn't that obvious? And I had to leave my job for 10 years because my hands hurt. I couldn't type at the computer. So I would say respect your body. Take care of your body. This is like number one. And getting the me time in a regular way. Like I journal every night and in the morning, and that keeps my focus of the little to-do list, which is a big to-do list that I need to get done for Baltics in space to build this community of space workers. So then in the beginning, volunteer your time and just jump in a lab and do experiments with someone who wants help to clean beakers, or you know, or to run some of this equipment. If you, like, I volunteered my time to an asteroid scientist named Eleanor Helene. And we discovered asteroids, and that got me to meet JPL scientists, which gave me my first job, right? So volunteering your time can bring your network together, because for the next maybe 15 years, I didn't have to apply for a job. all I did was put my resume in the mailboxes of the areas where I was working.
Yeah.
And that's how, for 38 years, I've had contracts of like 2 years at a time. Actually,
Wow.
I have contracts now of a few months at a time. So it's gotten a little bit worse.
Yeah.
But if you have a good network and people know you and you do good work, you have to do good work, then you can leave your resume and say, I'm looking for a new contract.
Yeah.
You know, what do you think? And you can find jobs without applying in this way that I know you did in a very amazing way. And you have to write an article or a book about the way you got your job in Germany.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah, so I would say those are some of the lessons. So just do it. Don't wait and think, I have to learn this field and this. Just find a way to start getting your hands on data right away. So that's really important, is real data instead of all this theory stuff. Just to start working with data as soon as you can.
Wow, this is really great story you shared with us, and I'm so glad you shared it on such an open and enthusiasm level, so that we always can see forward positively and get some motivation. So thank you so much, Amara, for
You're welcome.
just being so spontaneous and so much energetic throughout all the time and so supportive. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thanks
You're
again.
welcome.